Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to another episode of News Dose, where I give you all of the latest gaming news, and a huge game leak today that will be heading over to the Xbox Series X. This is an iconic franchise, and there was a lot of speculation on whether or not this would actually happen, but after a decade, it looks to be returning to Xbox once again, and I expect fans to be absolutely thrilled by what's happening there, so we'll go over all of that here in just a little bit. Also, 2020 is almost over, and that means the Game Awards is almost here. That event has progressively grown every year, and well, we did get the Game Award nominations today, so we'll take a look at that. If you're new to the channel though, make sure to hit that bell notification and subscribe button. I'm here Monday through Friday every week, keeping you up to date with all of the gaming news. With that said, let's get right into it, starting off with Nintendo. Nintendo does have some interesting things happening right now with some of their exclusive games, and Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity will be releasing in just a couple days on November 20th. This has been a really intriguing game so far, especially for Zelda fans. Of course, this is another Dynasty Warriors type game, or Musou to be more specific, but the story itself has grabbed a lot of attention among fans. It is supposed to be a prequel to Breath of the Wild, and fans of that game might be eager to jump back into the world, especially if they're not willing to wait for the sequel. Well, reviews are starting to come out, and it currently has a 79 overall score on Metacritic, which is right in line with previous games similar to this. Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition, as an example, also got a 78, so if you do like these type of games, you're probably gonna like Age of Calamity. I am hearing it's got some technical issues, and the frame rate can be all over the place, but if you're okay with that, then it sounds like a solid game based off what I'm hearing. That's the thing though, at times like this, I would really like to see Nintendo come out with the Nintendo Switch Pro. I mean, that thing has been rumored for well over a year now, and it's highly possible that it's a real thing, but it would be great in situations like this. Maybe if you played on the Switch Pro, you could do away with some of those frame rate issues. Like I said though, we also got another Nintendo game to talk about today because Animal Crossing New Horizons is getting a pretty nice seasonal update, including a highly requested feature. Yeah, fans are really gonna like this one, but not only will you get the chance for some holiday fun, but starting November 19th, you'll be able to transfer your save file over to a different Nintendo Switch. There has been some concern about not being able to do this in the past, and as I was just saying, it would be really cool to see a Switch Pro. Well, for those people who've been playing Animal Crossing for hundreds of hours, I'm sure that would be very stressful if you got a new Switch and then all of a sudden you just lost all of your data. That would be crushing or even heartbreaking. I've heard of people playing some of the older Animal Crossing games for years and years, so it's not one of those games you just pick up and play 1 week and then kind of move on to the next game. It can be a big time sink, and being able to transfer your save files with relative ease should make a lot of fans very happy. Now, you're also going to be getting some seasonal events over the next couple months, you're going to be getting some new hairstyles, and you can even expand your home storage. These are really nice additions to Animal Crossing, and I like what we're seeing with Nintendo. New Horizons has become a massive game this year, and it's nice to see this ongoing support. It'll keep the game fresh, and it does look like that they already have something planned for January as well, so you're going to have more Animal Crossing fun in 2021. Also, there's been some speculation on the next Kingdom Hearts game and when we'll see it next. We did just get Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory, but what we all really want to see is Kingdom Hearts 4 or something that advances the story in a meaningful way. That's the game that we want to see next, but unfortunately, it doesn't sound like we're going to get any kind of news soon. Tetsuya Nomura did reveal that they're going to take a small break on Kingdom Hearts news, and they're working towards the Kingdom Hearts 20th anniversary, which takes place in 2022. So we're probably going to be waiting for a while, but maybe they announce their next game in 2021. I don't think that that's out of the realms of possibility. That's not too long of a wait either, especially considering the long gap between 2 and 3. Kingdom Hearts 2 released way back in 2005, whereas 3 came out in 2019. That's a very large gap. But to be fair, they also had several games in between that, which was important to the story. Unfortunately, they all came out for different platforms, but that's a whole different topic. One thing I found interesting though about what Tetsuya Nomura said was he wants to make a change with Kingdom Hearts. So in an interview, this is what he had to say. I intend to tie up remaining loose story ends, but also want to change the format a bit. I want to drastically change the world and tell a new story, but also tie up loose ends. So that's a very curious statement. It sounds like that we could be getting in an entirely new game, maybe different than past entries. Possibly new characters or something else. I'm not really sure exactly what he means just yet, but do expect something a bit different with the next Kingdom Hearts game. Again, it looks like something is being planned for 2022, so let's look forward to that. Moving on, the Game Award nominees has officially been revealed. Now, there's always a lot of websites that does Game of the Year, and I'll do my own as well, but universally the one that people pay the most attention to is the Game Awards hosted by Jeff Keighley. He's done a pretty good job with those shows since he's kicked it off, and there's always a lot of big announcements there. In a way, it may be this year's E3. I'm expecting some really cool reveals here, and I'm hoping to see the initiative's new game, but yeah, let's take a look at those Game of the Year nominees. You have Animal Crossing New Horizons, Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, and The Last of Us Part 2. I was kind of hoping to see Ori and the Will of the Wisp or Half-Life Alyx here because those two are excellent games, but overall there are some really good games here. I know not everybody's going to be happy with it, and I would make some changes myself, but you got a little bit of everything, and it even includes Hades. Now that is pretty cool to see a smaller indie game like this get nominated. It's well-deserved too. Seriously, if you haven't checked that game out, do yourself a favor and do so. It really is a great game. It seems like a lot of people think The Last of Us Part 2 will win, but I don't know. From a technical standpoint, it's outstanding, but it also was a very controversial game. Animal Crossing, though, in contrast, is by far the most popular game, and then Doom is definitely the best first-person shooter. I think for me, though, I'm going to have to vote for Final Fantasy VII Remake. When all said and done, that's the game that really stands out to me the most. It was a beautifully done reimagination, the gameplay is fantastic, and I'm really excited for Part 2. However, let me know what your Game of the Year is and what you would choose. Also, if you would make a change to one of the selected games, what would it be? Let me know in the comments below. In other news, a big game leaked online. This is yet another Capcom leak, as unfortunately they were hit by ransomware earlier this month, but now we got some new details on the upcoming Street Fighter 6. Yes, Street Fighter 6 is in development as previously rumored, and not only will it be coming to the PlayStation 5 and PC, but it's also being planned for the Xbox Series. Yeah, that's right, after Street Fighter 5's PlayStation exclusive deal, Street Fighter 6 looks to head back to the Xbox platform once again. Now that is fantastic news for fighting game fans. Street Fighter is one of the most iconic fighting game franchises ever made, and it's huge among the fighting game community, especially esports. It's also popular among Xbox fans, and Street Fighter 4 sold a lot on the Xbox 360. It was a big blow to Xbox when Street Fighter 5 was revealed to be a PlayStation exclusive. I mean, Xbox still had Killer Instinct to kind of replace that, and personally that's my favorite fighting game, but even then, Street Fighter is the more popular game. This is a multi-million seller, and for a lot of fighting game fans, they may have skipped out on the Xbox One specifically for this game. I know the 5th installment had kind of a rough start, but over time, it was a big success. It did go on to sell 5 million units, so I'm really glad to see this one be multi-platform once again. And for that matter, it's also apparently being planned for the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Now I'm just kind of hoping that Capcom manages to make this a cross-play game. I imagine they'll at least get it working across Xbox and PC, and then PlayStation and PC, but what I would really like to see is for Xbox and PlayStation players to be able to play together as well. For fighting games, crossplay is incredibly important to keep an active community going for years and years. There's not really any advantage to playing fighting games on PC either. It's not like shooters where a mouse is more accurate. So I'm really hoping for crossplay, but we'll see about that. Nonetheless, this is great news. Not only is Street Fighter 6 in development, but it looks like everybody's going to be able to enjoy this iconic franchise once again. Also, fans have been kind of scared to do certain things on the PlayStation 5. There are a few bugs on the PlayStation 5 that's causing some consoles to brick. Yeah, I would strongly recommend not using an external hard drive or putting your PlayStation 5 to sleep because that can on occasion lead to a rebuilding database error, and sometimes that will unfortunately brick your console. I don't know how widespread this issue actually is, but it's enough to where fans are scared to doing either of these things. Well, Sony did put out a new stability update for the PlayStation 5, and right away I think that's going to relieve a lot of fans. Well, that's until you actually look at the patch notes. It simply says, "This system software update improves system performance." Yeah, that's all it says. So I'm not really sure what they actually fixed here. I was kind of hoping they would be a little bit more specific because I'm not willing to put my PlayStation 5 into sleep mode until I know with an absolute fact it's fixed. I imagine a lot of people will be that way, so this is kind of an odd update. I'm sure it's improved certain things, but I just don't know what exactly that is. Now, I imagine we'll probably hear different improvements from the community themselves over the next couple days if they're noticing less problems, and if I hear anything, I'll let you know. In the future though, I hope Sony can be a little bit more specific on what's included in their updates. You should still download this update obviously, but yeah, let me know if you notice any kind of fixes on your end. On to our last bit of news though, 2020 has been a very strange but historical year. This is without a doubt a year for the history books, but in terms of games, it's been the year of the door. Of course, we all remember the infamous Final Fantasy VII Remake door, but now we also have Demon's Souls. So I've been playing this game a ton and I absolutely love it. They did a phenomenal job, but overall it's a remake that sticks to its source material. There are a few changes here and there, but for the most part there's not any major changes, except for one. Over the weekend, the Demon's Souls community spotted a new door that was not in the original game. So far nobody's been able to open it up, but if you take a look through the camera feature within the game, you can see a new location with a hidden item. Now everybody is trying to figure out how to open this door, and Bluepoint also is joining in on the fun by posting a new picture alongside what appears to be a reference from a riddle. In this post it simply says Symphony of Rumors, which actually references a post they made in October. So some fans are wondering if it has anything to do with solving the puzzle, or if it could be a hint as to what the hidden item is beyond the door. The riddle seems to be referencing both Castlevania and Metal Gear Solid, and some even theorize if they're working on a remake for either of those franchises, and the answer could be behind this door. I'm not really sure about that, but I would be absolutely thrilled if they are working on a remake for either one of those series. Nonetheless, this is a pretty fun Easter egg in one of this year's best games, and hopefully it gets solved soon. Anyways though, that's it for this episode, but if you liked the video, don't forget to bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Also, if you'd like to support the channel through Patreon, thank you for making this content possible. Peace out.